Hey guys, welcome to Inside Alicyn's Wonderland, the show that takes you through the looking glass and down the rabbit hole into the wild world of animation and video games. I'm your host, Alicyn Packard, and welcome, Jeff. It's so good to see you again for another week. And Josh Rustin just rushed in at the top of the hour. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Nelson. It's great to see you guys. Neon Noodle, it's been way too long. And hey, Michelle, Rian Creeley, I think that's Michelle. It's good to see you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm really excited because we have a very special guest today, Evan Spiridellis, animation producer of the Emmy Award winning animated series As the Storybots for Netflix. So raise your hand if you have seen As the Storybots. I am a huge fan, not just as a mom, but as a human. It's a really amazing show. Hey, Michelle. Yeah, good to see you. So we're going to jump right in. We're on a little bit of a time crunch today, but we're going to make sure we get all our questions in. If anybody in the audience has a question that they want to ask Evan, then you can be sure and add it in the little question box down there. And if we have time, we'd love to get to it. Hey, thanks for joining, guys. Great. It's so good to see so many people live. Go ahead and send Evan the request right now, and we'll get this ball rolling. Hey, Sam Bravo. Welcome, and thank you for joining. It's good to see you. Happy Wonderland Wednesday, everybody. Hey, Evan.
Hello. How are you?
I'm great. It's so good to see you.
I know it's been a while. It's great to see you.
Do you want to tell everybody the first time we met?
Well, I'll start, and then you can talk about the project. So I used to have a studio with my brother called Jib Jab that we started back in 1999, long before YouTube and long before most things. And we did a lot of things. We did political satires, and then eventually our business became making e-cards, and we tried all kinds of stuff. Animation, live action, puppets, like all the stuff we do in Storybots now. And I was lucky enough to meet you, Alicyn. And do you want to tell them about the project that we did together?
It's funny because what made me think, oh my gosh, Evan would be such a great guest on this show is every once in a while will show me really embarrassing photos from years ago. It's one of those situations where it was me pink and green Spanish leotard with one of those gymnastic positions. You were in the photo, and basically it was for one of the Olympics spots for Jib Jab, and we were doing a dance. Me and Maxwell, I believe.
Yes, yeah, Jordan was great. You guys were both awesome. I used to love those live action shoots. They were really fun.
That was so fun. I also did one for Valentine's. My light's a little bright. But yeah, it's so good to see your face. You look exactly the same.
So do you. You look great. Thank you. Hey, is my internet connection doing okay? Is this, am I choking up?
No.
Okay.
On this, does anybody else want to try? I am hearing a little, but I'm just going to turn that down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay, I'm going to step outside because I may be better here. I apologize for shifting all around. But
It's just interesting to see inside your Wonderland with or something.
Let me see. Okay. Is this better? This is better.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah. Storybots Alive. Mike Hollingsworth is an animator and animation director on the show last week. So yeah, I mean,
I know.
Just like first off, so grateful to you for creating content that is educational and entertaining and doesn't make me want to.
Well, thank you. We started making it because we had young kids and we wanted to entertain ourselves, and that was really the gist of it, you know. So I'm glad that worked.
So you were working with your brother at Jib Jab. Are you guys longtime collaborators? Were you creating stuff as kids even?
We always joke. We say we weren't like the Coen brothers. You know, they were like in elementary school and had an 8mm camera. We were always buddies, but we very much went our had our own paths. Of course, I'm the younger brother, so I looked up to him and like wanted to hang around with him. But ultimately, like I went to art school. He went to into banking and business and went back to business school. So we were always friends. We would hang out together. We would travel together, but we didn't start making anything together until Jib Jab, really.
Wow. What made you come up with the idea for Jib Jab?
I always, it's funny. I had started making animation. I studied art, like drawing and painting, and then I fell into animation after college, and I wanted to make a kids show, which 20 years later, here we are. But and I was working on it, and my brother was really into tech stuff and really into the internet, and he was like, "Why do you want to make a TV show? Like, there's this brand new thing rolling off the line. It's called the internet. Like, there's all kinds of opportunity. It's wide open."
Yeah.
And I'll never forget. He said, do you really want to be banging out horseshoes while the Model T is rolling off the assembly line? And that was like the eureka moment for me. Like, wow, people still need horseshoes, and clearly people still love television, but there's a lot of opportunity. And here we are, all these years later, talking through our telephones. So.
Right. And making horseshoes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think pretty much everybody on this stream is gonna know and be familiar because they made such a cultural phenomenon at the time, and that first founding fathers viral video on. My friend the Tree working with you.
Yes.
I think he was who. So they need.
I think he did connect us. Andy's the best. He's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's so interesting. Now, when it came to Jim, did you guys work with a team of writers, or what?
Well, it's funny. At the beginning, when we first started, going way back, we always joke. My brother, in addition to being a business guy, he's also like the funniest guy I know. So he would do the writing, I would do the art, and my wife would write the music. And that was, and we had one. This is going into 2004, but and then we had one voice guy, Jim Meskimen, who's just brilliant, who did the voices, and really the four of us just kind of chipped away at this thing and got and it sort of popped. Prior to that, when we first started Jib Jab, it was that same crew, except I was able to hire some of my buddies from art school, and like none of us knew anything about the internet or animation. We were just making stuff and trying and throwing it out into the ether,
Well, it's funny. I was thinking about the founding fathers rap in relation to Hamilton. Correct?
It you know what? It's amazing. If my hope and prayer is that somewhere a young Lin-Manuel saw that, didn't remember it, like, and maybe there was like a seed of something in there. We did Rapping Founding Fathers back in 2001. Clearly that guy is a mad genius, and like we were like, talk about like the Model T versus a Lamborghini. Like, that guy's a Lamborghini. We didn't do much.
Yeah, but very fun. And you think about the those ideas that maybe it did inspire him somewhere in mind. So is your wife?
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen her credits. I was wondering, is this the third sibling?
Yeah, it's Adrienne, and it's not because, we always say, it's not because she's fancy. Her mom is from the Netherlands, so it's like Adrian but with an A. And we were working together even pre-Jib Jab. We've been together like 23 years, and we just make each other laugh. And she's a crazy talented musician, so it's fun.
Did you also do some of the songwriting Storybots?
Oh yeah. She's written a bunch of songs. My personal favorite is the punk rock spiders. They're just like the interstitials. That's us, and our kids do some backing vocals in there. It's really super fun. but she also writes like real music, like the Garbage song, the How Do You Catch a Cold song. She's amazing. Yeah.
As a side note, I just wanted to share that the How Do You Catch a Cold episode and also on viruses. When the pandemic, my son would watch that over and over and over again. And then one day it was like he completed it. It was like he'd had this healing process.
He's like, I got this. I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Watching, yes.
You know, talk about like
Strong.
not lucky, but the amazing thing about the show, the Storybots show, is like we have learned so much making that show. Like I couldn't tell you before that episode how the immune system worked, and we've been able to connect with like amazing people in their respective fields. Like for that episode, we had multiple phone calls with the head of virology at UCLA. I mean, the toilet episode, we talked to Pam Alardo, who runs all of like waste management for New York City. Like she's responsible for the plumbing of New York City. And I mean, people are so brilliant, and they're so willing to share their information. It's been really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so Storybots, now you guys started YouTube, correct? 2012?
Yeah, we started 2012.
And how did you move to Netflix?
So the starting Storybots was interesting. So first, like we said, we had kids. I had 2 kids. My brother had 3 kids. And we realized that we didn't really like sitting down to watch preschool shows with them. There's some good stuff out there, but for the most part, it tends to be a little saccharine and a little bit feels like maybe driven more by educators than artists. Mm-hmm. And so we really wanted to make something that we wanted to watch with our kids. We started making shorts because from Jib Jab, that's kind of what we did. And we were just putting them on YouTube, and we did the ABC series and shapes and numbers. And what we found by using YouTube as a test bed was that there were other parents out there who were excited to have stuff that like they wanted to watch or listen to, you know, with their kids. And that was the best feedback. So then, given the success and the feedback, we actually self-funded season 1 of Ask the Storybots. So we were lucky enough that Jib Jab was a profitable business. And, you know, rather than buying cars and houses, we took the money from Jib Jab and we made Storybots. And the beauty of that is everyone says, oh, don't ever invest in your own stuff. Because it is really risky, and a lot of times, thankfully, it works for us. A lot of times it doesn't work. But the beauty of it is we got to make the show we wanted to make without compromise. And thankfully, we're so thankful that other people liked it, you know. And then we licensed it to Netflix, and that was the beginning of that relationship.
So you already had the whole first season in the case to Netflix? Wow.
Yeah. So we started, I think too, there was some degree of calculated risk. I don't know if I would take that same approach today, just because of where the world is at. At the time, Netflix, when we started, that was 2012, we started Storybots. 2014, we really started the show. Netflix wasn't the Netflix they are now 6 years ago. They had just done House of Cards. Orange is the New Black was just beginning. So it hadn't been proven that this was going to work. But we had faith, and there was rumblings that Hulu was coming and Amazon was coming. So we knew that these big players were going to need content to help differentiate themselves. So we knew that there would be a need, whereas now I think there's almost like an abundance of content. At the time, there was a real need. So we felt pretty safe investing our own money. And we started the conversation, I think halfway through, and we showed it to them. We were like, hey, we're making this. And they were like, oh yeah, let's think about it. And we said, okay, no problem. We're still making this. And by the time we were done, we had already had conversations, and we're pretty excited about it. And they've been amazing partners. So, yeah.
Somebody just
Question.
that their son knows that's 5 years old knows a lot of stuff now because of you.
All right. We always say our bar for Storybots with the lesson is, you know, if a 5-year-old said this to their parent, would it blow their mind?
Yeah.
That's our bar. Like, how much do we need to squeeze in? Because some of these lessons are dense, and it's always, if a 5-year-old relayed this info to a parent, would they be like, oh my God, that's crazy. Yeah.
Amazing. And so now that for the first, you guys are in your third season, what's the average writing process like? Do you guys have a writer's room, or is a lot of the names from the original YouTube series?
We are still figuring out our process. That's one of, I think, the benefits of being independent and not having a background in television. Like, we had Ask the Storybots, we had never made anything longer than 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So we're constantly like figuring out how to do stuff. And I kind of like that part of it. You know, we break a lot of eggs, but ultimately I think like we get there. And I'm not proud of broken eggs, but, you know, I think the people that we've kind of been able to corral and we're lucky enough to work with are all so talented, whether it's writers or story artists, designers, actors. It's really fun to get everybody together and sort of have a loose path forward and figure it out.
Yeah. So do you guys actually meet in a room?
No, we it changes per talent. Like, some people want to go off and just do their thing. Some people are more collaborative. I mean, the process is, it all starts with a lesson. So yeah. Greg and I and Nate, our head of story, we have an educational consultant. She's a friend of ours. Our kids went to preschool together. She's like a PhD. This is what she does in educational psychology, I think. So her name's Nina Newlight. She's amazing. We'll work with her to like hammer out like what is the lesson, and then that becomes sort of like the spine that everything gets built around. We're actually developing a new show right now with Storybots. And so we're figuring out our writing and boarding process all over. It's a new show, a new format, still features Team 341B. But yeah, I don't know how much I can say about it, but it's going to be cool.
Well, the only you are the show creator, so like,
yeah. I will say it's focused on the characters and it's focused on their world. Mm-hmm. And still, instead of like one big adventure, we're trying to figure out ways to get more kids, more questions, and more Storybots into a 22-minute show.
Are those your kids' voices at all that are asking the questions at the top of the show?
No, you know, it's funny. We haven't, our kids, by the time we got to the show, they kind of started to age out of it. But it's, oh no, I take it back. My younger son in Super Songs, he's the voice of the boat. So there's the section where I'm a boat, like, and then the shark comes. That's my son. Aww. And we just sat and we just had a conversation, and I was the shark named Bob, and then we animated it. That was really fun. And also he's the grumpy grizzly bear in the Emotion series, and I actually animated that one myself because I wanted to animate his voice.
Oh, that's so cool. It's creating opportunities like in your career. Just so amazing.
Yeah.
Anybody that just joined in, we're sitting down with Evan Spiridellis, the co-creator of the Storybots, and he's telling us about Storybots. We've got about another 10 minutes. So I was curious. I heard that Fisher Price just released a line of toys. Can you tell us?
Yeah, we're super excited. I mean, I from the beginning, our vision when we started this was to sort of make a modern Sesame Street for a global audience. And, Netflix, 190 countries, 30 something languages. They're an amazing partner. I think part of building a franchise is not like it all starts with the characters and making stuff that makes us laugh. But then you want kids to be able to connect with them when they're not in front of a computer, and that means like, hey, is there a toy they can play with, a doll they can hug, like. So
Mhm.
we had started talking to Fisher Price. Netflix actually purchased Storybots from us last year, and now we're work at Netflix and we're making new Storybots stuff. And one of the things that like one of the reasons we were excited to partner with them is because having that kind of like just studio firepower behind you helps make things like Fisher Price happen. And we had started those conversations. And I mean, if you think about preschool toys, like who better to partner with than Fisher Price?
Oh,
So,
I
yeah,
that said that. It's so funny. My dad's friend worked for Fisher Price growing up, so we got a lot of free little special.
it's and the people there are so cool. Like they make toys for a living and they love toys. So it's I would say that's the best part of all of this stuff that we've been doing for the past 20 something years is like you meet amazing people in all different. I was talking about artists and writers and actors, like it also translates across to like the people at Netflix, the people at Fisher Price, Random House. We've had a great editor. Like there's some story about books. So, and it's all, I feel like it's all just beginning, Alicyn. Like we're just now, it's starting to pop, and we've got a lot of plans like that we're working on to make it bigger.
But wait, how many Emmys have you got on?
Six. We've won six Emmys, which
Not
is,
bad in 3 seasons, you know? A lot more
yeah.
nominations. It's
Thank you.
really
It's you talk, there's those things that happen where you're like, oh my god, that happened, like that's one of those things. So it's really nice. The external validation is really nice, but you know what, I'll be totally honest, it's even better than the Emmys is like searching it for Storybots on Twitter and seeing like real parents talk like, oh, my kid said this, or like, a video of like a kid rocking out to like radishes, like actually seeing the audience is just amazing. It's amazing. So
I'm gonna text, or maybe I'll post to my Instagram stories a video I made wrapping the whole my episode.
yeah, yeah, I love Apatosaurus.
And he does the whole like he's only seen the episode. Well, a lot, I guess, but you've probably seen it like 4 or 5 times. But like, how did you memorize it that quick? You know, it's amazing.
Music. I mean, when I was little, it was Schoolhouse Rock. Like I still to this day can recite the Constitution thanks to Schoolhouse Rock. Like we the people, in order to form a more perfect union. Like I go on and on. Music is just an amazing tool to like store memories or ideas.
Totally, and it's amazing too. I see how Earth has really come through at Jib Jab first, and now through Storybots as you build the empire and everything goes. See what's next. Any other
Yeah.
shows influenced you as a kid?
Oh, sure. It's funny. We've been talking a lot about this because as we're building a new show, it's like you want to know, like, hey, what are the things that like really inspired not just me and my brother, but like the people we're working with. For me, I would say it's really the Muppets. Like the Muppets, I always tell everybody, like that was the be all end all. And I think a big part of that had to do with the fact that those guys were making stuff to make themselves laugh. They were same thing, like they weren't making things for 5-year-olds or 9-year-olds. Like they were making things to crack each other up that also happened to be really accessible to 5-year-olds and 9-year-olds. And it worked. I mean, I remember watching Sesame Street and the Muppets with my mom, and she'd be laughing too. Or she could just plop us in front of the TV because she had, like, you know, stuff to do, and she felt really good about leaving us with it. So I think the Muppets were huge. I loved Roadrunner and Coyote, like that kind of, like, it's kind of dark humor in Roadrunner and Coyote. It's really great. Yeah, everything. I just loved cartoons when I was a kid.
Me too. Now, I'm assuming you guys, now you're all working from home. Were you at Netflix?
No, you know what's funny is even though we are now officially part of Netflix, we maintained an external office. So because we had Jib Jab and Storybots, and we've always been on the West Side, we've built teams out here. We have a small office in Venice that we work out of.
Oh, cool. Yes.
Yeah. But I do think, you know, our goal is to be 100% remote. Like, I think even through making Storybots and Jib Jab, we work, talent is everywhere. Like, talent is not limited to geography anymore. You can be anywhere and make awesome stuff. So we've always worked with people all around the world, and I like the idea of seeing how far we could push that. Like, we have a full-time guy right now in Cairo, Egypt, and he's amazing. And we have people, you know, people literally all over the world that we're working with, and it makes our stuff better. So
yeah. I want to thank you for respecting time. I know you have dinner. Does anyone that's on right now have any questions for Evan? For anybody that may just be tuning in, Evan of Storybots, as well as Jib Jab, which I heard you recently Jib Jab. Is that correct?
Yeah, so actually it was a little bit ago, and we sold Jib Jab so that we could focus, my brother and I could focus entirely on Storybots. Like, it was, you know, running two businesses. And truthfully, for Greg, it was a little bit more. For me, I was 100%, 99% on Storybots for the most part anyway. And the Jib Jab team was off and running. Like, my friend Mauro Gotti had been running Jib Jab. And the whole Jib Jab team is the team that we had built, and our COO became the CEO. So it still feels like part of the family, and they're all our friends, but they're off doing their stuff, and it's awesome. I love seeing that they're having growth and making cool things. And I get to do Storybots full time.
Yeah. And what are your recording sessions? Did you used to or?
Yes. So that was a big thing for us on Ask the Storybots. We would always do big group sessions. Like, we would go down to Village Studio in Santa Monica and get a room that we could get 6 or 7 microphones around. They would set up glass walls. And I think the same thing, like, the actors that we work with are so cool and so fun. And there's a true chemistry between them that they just make our stuff better. So we come in and it's like, hey, if you just read the lines, it'll be pretty good. But they plus it, and we riff, and we ad lib, and we laugh, and then the job is to go and edit it. But it's but yeah, we like group records, long answer.
Animate after production.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little there.
Sorry. So you start with the voice, animate to the actor.
Yeah, so our process, we actually do animatics, like really fleshed out animatics where, you know, we'll scratch out the vocals and time it and do music and temp sound effects. So by the time we get to a session, we tend to have something that, again, if the actors just read it and hit the cadence, we know it'll work, but then they make it better, you know. And I think that's part of the thing that makes the show special is we'll start with a good script or treatment, and then the board artists make it better, and then we time it, and then the actors make it better, and then the artists will add their gags, and the animators, and literally every person on the pipeline along the way. Like their job is to make it funnier or better. So
That's great. Well, we could talk to you all day, but I promised I would get you out of here by 6. So thank you so much for being our guest tonight. And it was great to meet you again.
Thank you, Alicyn, for inviting me. Thank you for doing this. And we got to we're making a new show. We got to get in the booth together again.
That would be so awesome.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, to anybody that joined. Oh, look, Ian's here. See, I know Ian. Yay, hearts. Well, are there any no questions? I can take 5 more minutes. Beth is waiting. Hi, Beth.
Does anyone have any questions for Evan? Hi, Felice. Felice, actually an amazing songwriter. Bethany, hey, thanks for tuning in, you guys. Anybody have questions about Storybots, the production, or anything for Ben? I'm curious about, where you take your inspiration from for your time. Do you get stuff from your?
Yeah, I mean, I think we also have been building a thing that we hope to be able to roll out that enables us to talk directly to kids through their parents, through video chats. And the beautiful thing about the show, honestly, is that kids, if you have a kid, they will never run out of questions. Kids will never run out of questions. So we have a library of, it's got to be 300 questions that have just from kids that we've spoken to. So I think, there's a pretty fertile ground to make new funny things from that.
We did have a question come in. Liam is asking if you have a date for season 3.
We are currently working on a new show. So at least in the near term, there won't be more Ask the Storybots. There will be a new Storybot show. And we are racing. COVID definitely threw a kink into the plans. The original goal was to have it out at the end of next year. And we're the bags under my eyes, or because we're still trying to hit that deadline, but we'll see. Yeah. Yeah. The new show will be fun. I'm actually really excited about it.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, available on Spotify, where you can use it. Right?
Yeah, the music is everywhere, and the best. Honestly, the thing that inspired us to make the show was when we were first making the music and the shorts. We would get feedback that said, "Hey, I drive my kids at school, and I drop them off and I still listen to Storybots on the drive home." That was the thing where it was oh, all right, this is working. Parents like this. So we were okay, we should keep going with this.
And does your wife still write a lot of stuff?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we try. The nice thing is we do have a pretty broad, we work with the guy Parry Grip a lot. Gabe Sokoloff did the theme song and does all the learning songs, and Eric and Mark Weiner do raps. We've got just a lot of really great musicians that have a range of different styles. I think the same thing we do on the show, which is using different artists that do different things. We try to do the same thing with music. So there's some bluegrass stuff and hip hop, and it should be everything. There should be something for everybody inside a show.
It's very robust. And it's Parry Grip rules.
He's the best. And you know what?
As
talented as that guy is, and he is the most talented dude, he's even nicer. He's an even nicer human being than he is a rock star, which is hard to imagine. So if anybody likes Parry, you should rest assured. He's a unicorn. He's amazing.
You know what though, Evan? I think that does start at the top, right? And so you're creating this work ethic of kindness and fun, and hopefully that will, drift the aspect.
Well, I think, yeah, like I said, we really have been lucky to have amazing people, and all it takes is a handful of amazing people, and somehow they attract more amazing people. It's just that, I mean, it's pretty amazing. So I feel really lucky in that regard.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if nobody has questions, then we can go ahead and wrap it up. What are you having for dinner today?
You know what? I don't know. I've been on Zooms back to back until right now, but usually we cook together, but today is just bonkers. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But
amazing dinner with your family, and thank you so much for coming to talk to us.
thank you for having me, and thank you to anybody who is watching this. And check out Storybots.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alicyn. Okay, see ya.
See ya. I want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in today. That was an amazing interview with Evan Spiridellis, co-creator of As the Storybots for Netflix, an award-winning animated series for preschoolers with tons of music and puppetry and all kinds of things. So if you have kids and you haven't seen it, please check out As the Storybots. And for anyone that's just tuning in, Abby Russell, Erin Mellinger, and Bree, thank you guys so much for checking the show out. We just wrapped up our interview with Evan Spiridellis, but I'm going to post the replay right now. So if you want to go back and check out the interview, feel free. And next week, we're going to actually be interviewing Pat Brady. She's an animation voiceover agent at CESD Talent in Los Angeles and New York City. She's actually my animation agent, one of them. So we're going to be sitting down with Pat to talk about the business of voice acting. So come voiceovers, come with your voice actors, come with your voiceover questions, and we'll tune in next time. But thank you guys so much for checking it out, and I hope you have a wonderful Wonderland Wednesday. Bye.